Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my weekly political ideological sharing. Today I am going to talk about other aspects that are important in order to understand the fluent of the political thoughts. First of all, I would like to introduce you to my political channel. Remember, on the first video, I talked about my reasons why I decided to open a new channel in different languages. The most important one is because uh, there are a lot of people who are YouTubers who are usually analyzing the international and Colombian political news, but they don't use English or French or Italian as a second language, and probably other people in the world will have the possibility to uh, don't have the possibility to understand what is our political and economical situation in our country. On the second video, I was talking about the different powers in the world. I talked about money, sex, and the political power. On the third video, I talked about religion as a power. And in that aspect, I mentioned the differences between the myth and the wreath. I am not talking about the way people think that there is atheism. No, I'm talking about the way people manipulate the religious conception in order to the mythical conception in order to transform it into a religion, and how to use that religion in order to manipulate people, in order to tell them that there is only one God and there is only one way to do things, and the way is the way they have invented, they have created, and they don't accept other ways of or other points of view. Okay, my point today is very easy. Of course, these four political powers have got different structures to manipulate or to do their job in the best way. Those level of manipulating, or those structures to manipulate, are, for example, mass media, and, for example, education. And at the moment, these ones, we have to take into account the internet and social nets. Those are the ways they use to manipulate and to control the people's way of thinking. Today I'm going to touch the point about education. In the world, education is the way these four powers use to control or to maintain, to keep the status quo. I mean, to maintain the power around the world. So they use education in different countries. They use education in order to control the way people think. Of course, the governments in the different countries, they use the different methods to control the population, to control the way people should think, because the education is the best way to introduce, to put ideas into people's brain, and to have them do what it is necessary to be done. In Colombia, it is very, very clear that education is one of the main aspects to manipulate the people's way of thinking. First of all, because we really need a change in the education um, process, and we need a change in the political aspects that contain the education, and we need changes in the culture of the perception of the education. Unfortunately, in our country, everybody can talk about education and everybody can give ideas about education, and that is the main problem, because our country doesn't have or hasn't got any structural idea about how education should be. So that total freedom that we have got in Colombia, that it's given to the teachers in the classroom, it is very bad, the worst way of interpreting it. For example, in our country, we have got kind of general guidelines such as abilities or competences. So we should teach by helping students to achieve the development of their abilities or their competences. But I want to emphasize in the word should. It is not a must. And more when some principals or some directors have their teachers or try their teachers to obey the general guidelines of the law in Colombia, and some teachers, a lot of teachers don't want to accept this, and there is not any way to have teachers to obey the law. So some teachers don't pay attention to the general guidelines, and they keep teaching with the same traditional method, and they don't want to change the way they teach. And those traditional methods in which knowledge is more important than the ability to get those knowledges, those traditional methods in which evaluation is a kind of punishment against the student, and it is the student is evaluated not because of his or her achievements, but for his or her errors or mistakes. It is something wrong, but some people, many teachers, don't understand that it is a wrong way to teach. The right way to teach is when you have got the possibility to see your own errors and to correct them, and in that process of correcting those errors you learn. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to focus only on the errors. We have to focus on the achievements that the students have gotten. So some teachers prefer, for example, preparing an exam 5 points, and mathematically they say 5 points, 3 points the student passes, and 4 points excellent, and 5 points it's the highest grade students can achieve. But they do the process of evaluation such as if it were, for example, a mathematical process. But the evaluation implies recognizing all the achievements that the students have at the moment when the evaluation is applied, and also it means that we have to accept that the students have errors. No one is perfect. I would like to continue with this discussion about education in the next video, because I consider that there are many aspects to touch. For example, the process of selection of the teachers, which in my personal opinion, according to my experience as a principal, is the main problem of our educative process. Thank you very much.